What's going on, guys? It's your boy Reilly Cann back at it here again with another Hectic Way podcast, episode 12, with me, your boy Reilly Cann, back at it again with K Conway, Swag Money.
Swag Money, what? Let's get it.
It's my first time on here, dude.
This is your first time ever doing a podcast.
It's my first time doing a podcast ever. I've talked live before. People have heard my voice, but people haven't heard my voice for more than maybe 5 words. So this would be cool for them to hear 6-word sentences.
You heard that correctly. We are honored to have the Reilly Cann, not only a professional photographer, semi-pro kart racer, but one talented individual that you can't even put one title to his name.
Nope. 2 titles.
At least 3. Probably 3.
I'm a 4-title kind of guy.
Or not. Student, wow. Former student, yes.
Former student.
Former student, alumni.
I'm a freaking alum. That's crazy. Do you feel like you have control over your mind and your actions?
Yes, fully. I think that's an important part to being you. Mm. You be responsible for everything that goes on in your life. Mm. And I think controlling your mind is, you master your mind, you master yourself in a lot of ways. You master the world. Because your world is a reflection of what you have going on in your mind.
For myself, when I'm going through those tough days, I'll try to find some kind of process or some kind of comfort in some kind of action to help me catapult myself into a good sleep and then a good day the next day. What do you do to snap yourself out of those phases?
Like we were mentioning earlier, kind of how you said that when you felt maybe overwhelmed or blocked when it came to work, you put it down and you went and did something else. You got your mind completely off of it. In that same way, I would say that's what I do with my, not necessarily my energy, but maybe my attitude. So if I got a shitty attitude, I'm gonna go do something that maybe very low stimulation. Maybe walk my dog or sit down and read. And a good book.
Dude, I love reading.
And reading's very important. I feel like that's a whole, we can go into that. But writing, I just a simple task that kind of take my mind off of that feeling, or it helps me process it to realize why I'm feeling that way, what's making me feel that way, and then how I can not feel that way.
I guess it's more or less the same. I'll, like we said, reading. That's what I do, low stimulation. I'll go sit in bed and read a book. And I read 2 or 3 different books at a time. Well, I like to read a multitude of different things and surround myself with a multitude of different opinions and viewpoints and things to help further myself and my perspectives. And I'm a firm believer in certain things are meant for certain times. And if I'm in a certain mood, I'm gonna read this book, or I'm gonna wear this t-shirt, or shit like that. And so I like to have variety of things and choices that depend on my mood throughout the day. Knowledge is power. If you're not smart, you're not gonna fucking do shit. There are dumb people that make it, but they make it for doing dumb things. I see that a lot. I feel how do you think that your ability to create personal relationships with people has helped you retain clients, make more clients? Do you think that being how much do you think being a sociable person, because you are, how do you think that has helped you in your career and what you do?
To begin, what kind of got me aware that was even important, which it wasn't the sole reason, but Dale Carnegie, he wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People. He said, your degree on how well you can effectively communicate with people determines your success. When you actually build a personal relationship with the people you're working with prior or during or after, that's for one, my number one intention. Anytime I have something going on, I want to connect with these people as deeply as possible, just to know and make new friends. And then number 2 is create the best work possible. And I think, I don't know, I feel like I'm not answering the question because I don't really know.
No, but I get, I'll just keep going where you were. I get, I feel like, you listen to those 2 things, I think one doesn't come without the other.
No, yeah.
You can't make the best work you can without connecting with those people and caring about the work.
Okay, caring that
That's the
alone.
biggest thing.
When you have a relationship with the people that you're working with, you are more liable to probably care about the work a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe be more meticulous on the edits and whatever it may be.
I think that's, I mean, from my own experience, I think that's what's worked with me so well. Like shooting with the people that I do, like and doing karting stuff as well. Like I've been doing that for fucking forever, and like I love it. So like it's easy for me to be up till 3 a.m. on, when I have to be up at 6 a.m. the next day. Like, cause I still need love.
Yeah,
that's just beautiful. Says to me about one of my really good friends. He said that the energy you put into the universe will come back to you, and I love that. And so as long as like I know, and I'm sure you're on the same wave as well. Like as long as I know that I'm working hard at what I'm doing, like and doing everything that I can, put all kinds of time and energy into it, that it's gonna pay off in the end.
Yeah.
That's the thing like to be comfortable about. It's hard. It's hard to get through initially.
Would you say that your experience with the clients that you've had, that building personal relationships has been a big part in that?
I think for some people, and some maybe not. I think for myself, man, I struggle a lot. Not a lot, but I would say I struggle a little bit, like in that work zone and like balancing like that work zone, work mentality versus being like sociable. That's why I like having like people like Reggie or like somebody else with me on a shoot to help the subject feel a bit more comfortable, because that's something I need to be better at. Because once I'm in the zone and I'm trying to figure out a shot, like I don't really talk to anybody. Like I'll make little comments every once in a while. You saw it, like
you're just locked in. You're there to do something.
Yeah.
And okay, this is how I have been looking at things in a very positive light. But I look at all these different avenues and crevices and niches that everybody around us covers, and I have an interest in all of it. Like I'm like, dude, this is so cool. This is so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I mean, I can do that, but I'm not doing that. Like that's not my focus right now. I'm gonna let them do that. Like I'm gonna let other people do the work for me in a way, like and not necessarily like it's my work to be done, but just the work. Like I'm like, okay, I know that him going and doing that is ultimately gonna make him better, which he's in my circle, so that's ultimately gonna make me better.
Yeah.
And I'm over here trying to get better at what I'm doing, while homie's over here trying to get better at that.
Yeah.
So we're so everybody just trying to elevate and focusing on their role, because you look at these big agencies, these companies, everybody knows their role. I think that's so important, is like just knowing the roles and having almost like assigning those roles to people. Not necessarily like you have to tell them, but just like seeing it for what it is. Like your role is to literally do you. Our roles have been me.
Yeah.
Like this is cool.
It's kind of the way I approach like my interactions or with models and stuff on shoots, is like in the sense like I'll do you, and I'm gonna do my job is to capture the best version of you, and I think the best version of you is the relaxed version of you. So do what you're to do, stand here, but do you, do Kate, like do Reggie, like do whoever, like do you. Like that's such a nice thing that I learned very early on, that like I like when people are just that way. The most beautiful things to see as a human being is somebody in their element doing what they love and be good at it. Like
that's magical, dude.
When you're able to capture that, that's magical.
Yeah, straight up.
It's awesome.
I want to talk a little bit about, which we were talking about this already earlier, but your creative process. How do you get into that creative state where you will plan a shoot or actually like execute a shoot and edit all that?
So I think that I kind of have a wonky process with it all, and maybe a little bit lengthy, I guess. So I read this thing back in the day, and then just to paraphrase it, like it said that it compared ideas to the breeze, and how breezes don't come very often, but sometimes like you catch a breeze and something will click. So I think of ideas in my own personal ideas that way. Not everything comes like that, and most things that I do are a bit more manufactured in the sense that where I do sit down and try to think of something. But I think like my best ideas, and I think that could go for a lot of artists, like they just kind of come to you. Like the white sand stuff, like that literally came from a dream I had, like 4 months prior to
Wow.
it. Like
That's cool.
that shot came. That I swear I saw that in my dream. Exactly how that is. Not exactly, but very close.
Probably even better than you thought.
Yeah. I mean, that's real. I
Yeah.
did that actually. Like, it'll never be perfect.
Dreams are cool and all, but reality is a lot cooler.
Reality is so.
Right.
So for that, I'll give you the timeline for how that worked. Like I had the, bruh, Milo.
What's up, dude?
So for that one, I had the dream about it. I thought about it for. It just kind of kept staying in my mind for a while.
Was it a dream that you had that picture, or was it just a vision of that scene?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that shot, but I had like a whole thing before that. It was just such a crisp vision. And it was weird. It's so profound, like how it just kind of stuck with me. Like after all the time, like before I really started writing stuff down, like I just still kept thinking about it. Like, I really want to do this. Like, this is really cool. Like, do something different. And so, yeah, a couple months went by. Then I started writing. Cause I write in my journal quite often. I try to do it every night, but it'll maybe do it 3-4 times a week or something.
Which is still pretty. Yeah, that's still pretty consistent.
Trying to.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to express ideas. And so I started writing down, and I wrote like this whole like treatment story to it, like in my journal, and then like the vision just kept becoming clearer and clearer and clearer, and then it came to be. So then once I wrote the treatment, I went and did like I drew like a bunch of frame ideas, lighting diagrams, because I wanted to use a bit of flash on this. I just bought one that very recently, which I didn't actually use in that shot. Crazy. I don't think I actually used at all while I shoot. Lighting diagrams, stuff like that. And it's done.
What exactly is a lighting diagram? It's like how you would have the light set up.
Yeah, it's like it's a bird's eye view picture, like a bird's eye view little drawing where it has like it'll layer on like your background, and then like there'll be like your subject, and then here's like your camera, here's the light 1, light 2, like background,
Okay.
like, all that kind of stuff. It's a top-down view of where you put your lights, and it's so helpful. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it is.
so helpful, especially like we learned in school like how to like reverse engineer photos and like understand like try to figure out where they put the lights like just by looking at the photo. And so I've learned so much from doing that, like staying like okay, say I put their key light really high, really perpendicular to the subject, and that's created this really nice bit of side lighting on the subject to black out this whole outfit face. Like knowing like what happened like with the lights is really helpful with diagrams. You know what I mean? I do a lighting diagram probably for every shoot that I do now, except like for the karting stuff. 'Cause that's just more like running gun to do it. Okay. But yeah, that's how that went. I had like in the ideal world, every shoot that I would do would be like this. In the future, it will. Like I had a meeting with like myself, Josh, and Laz. We sat down. I had like walked through like reference pictures, like my goals for the day, like what I wanted to get, what I wanted to do, what our job was, what everybody's role would be, stuff like that. Just try to have everything planned out as best as I could. So then, on the day, all I had to focus on was taking a picture. Knowing what you're gonna do before you go do it is like, it takes off half the job. Like,
Yeah.
Like on running gun shoots, like I'm not as good at just like going and shooting something. Like that's not my forte, I guess. So like, once I learned the skill of like already having the idea and already kind of manifesting it in my head, it changed the game.
How would you say that the lighting, doing those diagrams, everything has affected your creative vision?
It gives me more structured.
Yeah, because you kind of know what to expect from.
And I think that like as I've grown and become more like what's the word?
Their experience, possibly.
Experience, I guess. Yeah, experience would be a word. As I become more experienced, like I know when I have an idea in my head, like I kind of know I'm learning how to reproduce it better than just going and doing it. So like I know what it takes to get these certain things, to like to have shadows fall a certain way, or to have certain depth of field in my background, and just like that, like these experiences has enabled me to truly have a nice structured, more polished view of my photos, rather than just going and doing it, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah. So the organization, the idea of organization plays a huge role in your work too.
Yeah. I'm very OCD about like time, and so like if you're if you're a client of mine and you booked an hour with me, I'm gonna be and I told you to pull up at 7:30. I'm gonna be there at 7 because I'm gonna leave my house at 7. If it takes 10 minutes to get there, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna get there early to make sure that I have from 7:30 to 8:30 to get everything that I need. And sometimes like whenever you have that amount of time, you have to pre-plan, and it makes the job so much easier and lets you take full advantage of that hour you get. And it's just things like that. Like with that, like I wanted to have everything ready to go, so when I went there, all I had to worry about was taking photos. Everything else was already set up. And it gives you so much more like I like thinking of like brain power in bandwidth. So your brain has 100 bandwidth, and you're spending, you should be spending 70% of it on taking the photos, but you're only spending 40 of it because you did pre-vids, you didn't plan on what you wanted to get. You're shooting yourself in the foot there.
Yeah, your attentional space is too much.
Yeah,
stuff.
you're worried about too many things.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get caught up on that, trying to do too much without putting enough into it. Like proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. Coach Hardcastle. You ever see this? Like, that's crazy.
Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance.
There you go.
That's like Peter Piper. Peter Piper picked a peck of
Peter Pepper picked a peck of pickled peppers. I drink
this. Yeah. So when it comes to the aftermath, when you're editing, do you still have that same organization when it comes to that? No. What is what? Give me a little.
I think the only bit of organization that happens when I'm editing is the order in which I edit photos. So I'll start from beginning to end. That's how I do it. But as far as like how I color everything goes, or cropping, all these different variables, like there's nothing planned to. Like I edit, I move every slider, make every mask. Everything is just done purely to feeling. Like there's no like, yes, I had a bit of an idea. Like I'm gonna keep using White Sands as an example because I think those are some of my best ever that I've done. Like with that one, I had an idea of how I wanted to edit it and how I wanted it to be colored and how I wanted the sky to look. But nothing nothing is ever perfect. Like I'm never gonna make it how it was in my head. To the 100%. So like, you just move things around and like, just see it till it feels good.
Yeah.
So that's really just how my editing process goes. Like I just do it till it feels good.
Do you ever struggle with perfectionism?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I come from a racing background. It's so like I'm
a what? A racist background?
No.
No, yeah, racing. Yeah.
Racing, yes. We can talk about that if you want to. Like,
definitely,
that's
we're
a huge part of me.
For sure.
So I come from the racing background, and then I don't know if you noticed this about me, but I am ultra competitive. Like,
no, if you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, that's how it is. And so like, that's the base. And then like when I was like, I think maybe 17, 18, I had this mentor, like engineer on my racing team for a couple of years, old French guy, and he's had a ton of experience. Like, he worked with like some of the greatest F1 drivers of all time, just greatest racing drivers, bred the best guys. And so I worked with him for a couple of years, and he was such an asshole, and he was like such a dick about he was a perfectionist because he was an engineer. Engineers are OCD about that kind of
It
shit.
has to be perfect.
And so that, they came into me, and I can't do anything unless it's my best. And I think that's a virtue, but it's also kind of a curse in the same sense. No matter how hard you work to make something perfect, it'll never be there. And accepting that it won't is the hardest part of that battle. Perfectionism is like the hardest thing.
But putting out the work at a standard that you're happy with,
Mm-hmm.
definitely I think overpowers that perfectionist mentality where it's like, you know what, this feels a lot better than
Yeah,
not having it out.
I agree with that.
How do you know that standard? All right, I guess, how do you know when the work is done?
You don't. It's not done until you put it out.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I was gonna say. It was like I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied. I'll be okay with it, but I'm not satisfied with how it turns out. I'll put it out because it looks cool. But am I satisfied with it? Most of the time.
No, I'm trying to go harder.
Yeah, like nothing that I have put out at this date is anything that I think is my full potential, and that's encouraging. Yeah, that's just encouraging.
It is encouraging, and that's how it should be looked at. There's this, I don't know who said it, but those who think that they are not that great at all always end up being one of the greatest.
And I think too, in that same sense, like I talked to a professor up here at Tech, and I talked to him. I'm like, man, I am doing a lot, but I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I don't feel like there's more I could be doing. And we were talking about that. And he's like, man, you know what? Honestly, if you feel like you're not doing enough, that means you're doing the right amount. It means you're doing great. Because if you're always in go mode, that means you train your body to be going all the fucking time. So that's the cool thing in that sense. If you're not feeling you're doing enough, you probably are doing something right. It's going okay. Just keep going.
Just do it. Just
fucking do it.
Yeah.
I love encouraging people. I think the coolest this last year has been such a cool experience because I've gotten to work at this camera store and teach everybody how to use these things and inform people about how these work and help people make decisions. Then I've gotten to go speak to classes and talk to them about my experience in life and where I could have done better and how I can inform them to do better and helping people. We just went off on a whole train.
No, bro, keep going.
I have found such a joy in encouraging people and helping people become better versions of themselves. Part of my job as a photographer is to make people look good. That's cool. That's really cool. I love when people see themselves and they're oh, dude, this
bro, this is the best I've ever looked.
Yeah, I get hyped from that, but it's also something so much cooler when you're able to not just make somebody look good, but make somebody feel good. Make somebody feel good about themselves. Make somebody feel like they can actually do something. The cool thing about when I went and spoke to that class, most of my presentation was just me talking about how it was a fuck up, my first 3 years in college, and how I came back from that. And I think that's such a empowering story to not just myself, but to other students that I know are in my position. And I talked to some of them that I know that are where I was. And to think that I could be a bit of an inspiration for those kinds of people to help turn their lives around, fine, dude. That's money.
Would you say that's your driving intention is the inspiration,
Yeah. I want to help. A thing I heard. You hear Kanye West is my favorite. I don't care. He's a Nazi, anti-Semite. I don't support any of that stuff. But anyway, in the past, he's always people always talk about him as being, he is this greatest artist of all time, whatever. He's this, that, blah, blah, blah. But what I found watching so many different interviews of people who talk about him is they say how good he is at bringing people together. and putting people in the best spots to make the best work. And that's my goal with people. Like I want to, I want to give Kay Conway the best job or the best opportunity to do the best work he could do shooting this video for somebody. Yeah, I want to give Reggie Smith the best opportunity to style somebody or manage somebody. Like encouraging people to do the best work that they can. Like Kanye's gonna tell you if you're fucking really good or you're really bad. But that makes a good leader in that sense. Like be able to call you out on your bullshit and then on your wins. I think encouraging. I want to say like my inspiration would be like helping people with things, and that's that is like helping people, but I want to help people and ultimately help people by telling their story. Like combining those two things we were just talking about, and that's make people look good and make people feel good. It's got to be those two things together.
You made a mention of creating your best work and just doing that solely for the purpose of creating the best work, like what you're talking about, like having the Kanye assembly where you have like people set in their and they're like in their designated roles to where like they focus on their job and they focus on what they're doing, the work that they have ahead of them. Do you think that best, quote unquote, that best work can be accomplished when you're in that competitive mindset with somebody else, or do you think it has to be more driven internally?
I think a little bit of both. I think competition breeds advancement and breeds innovation. It's like if we use you and I for example, like if I'm thinking that I'm this hotshot fucking music video director and everything, like, and we both put a bid in for this artist to do their video, it might be we might have given them the same price, but like, I'm gonna make a better video than you. Like no matter what the price is, I might undercharge just because I want to make a better video than you, no matter what. Like I don't like competition is such an important, like it's important to me, like in a narcissistic way, I guess. It kind of is like in a narcissistic way, I'm very competitive, and like and I hate that it is a competitive in a narcissistic way because I like to push everybody up and everything, but like at the end of the day, like I still gotta be better than you. Like I still gotta put out better shit. Like that, like that's how competitive. Like I don't like how it works that way, but it seems like it works well that way for me.
It does.
Like being selective in mindset that way. Like I'll choose to think that way that day. Like I'll choose to think that I'm better than this guy that day, in whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because you have to like when you're like racing with like. If you don't think that you can beat anybody else on the racetrack, then there's no reason for you to be on the track. Yeah, it's
like you already sold yourself short before you started.
Exactly. Like if I picked up my camera and I don't think that I'm the best photographer in the house, then why am I even shooting?
Yeah.
Like why am I going on this journey of self-discovery and learning? Like there's no point.
Now, what would you say that you would do in the instance that you surpassed all the competition around you? What would you turn to, as far as finding that fire that, like, what do you think that would be?
Well, I think I don't draw as much like power or like firepower or whatever from the competition itself. Like, yes, I strive to be the best, but I don't think that like I draw influence and inspiration from that. Like I have this motto. It's in my bio. Like I just want to make cool shit. I can't say shit in my bio because my mom looks at it.
I just want to make cool things.
I just make cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, whatever. I want to make cool shit. Like so that right there is the number. That's the only goal. It's just to make shit that's cool.
Cool shit for cool.
And if somebody makes something that's cooler than me, that's cool. I'm gonna be pissed, but like, it is what it is. Like I haven't tattooed on my arm. Like that's what it is.
It is what it is.
Competition's cool, but like it's good to have like especially in the community that we have. Like I feel like everybody has, maybe if most don't speak it, there's a bit of friendly competition going around all around this town,
bro. Every day.
Yeah, like and nobody hates each other, but like it's necessary. I feel like it makes us all be better.
For sure. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amen right there. When I shot up in when I went to California last summer and shot like that movie, which hasn't come out yet.
Wait, the movie?
Yeah, I shot last summer I got flown out to L.A. and shot a movie. Crazy shit.
Was this a movie that you directed, or were you director of photography?
DOP. I did that, and that's a crazy
That's
story.
so
That's
cool,
such a
man.
crazy story. I guess since we're on camera, I'll tell it. Like,
Yeah.
so last summer, so I guess I'll just do a little bit of backstory first. So like my dad and I used to go see movie like every like big movie, like, every like, Marvel, Star Wars, like those kinds of movies, like all on premiere night every time. Like so, in 2015 we went to see the Star Wars Force Awakens premiere in Allen, Texas. I don't even know who that is because you're looking.
No, I know.
I'm just, so we went and saw that, and so while we were standing in line to get into the theater, we were behind this guy, this little Indian kid. His name is Josh, and we ended up just chatting because we're both fucking movie nerds, and like, you know, we sat each other in the movie and whatever. And since then, we've always been in kind of contact. We talk every once in a while about movies and whatever shit. And so last summer, we've been talking a lot, especially because after I started doing photography, like, you know, started talking a lot more. And then he texted me one night. He's like, "Hey man, like I have something coming for you. Like just be ready." And he was being very vague about it, like very mysterious. I don't know why. He was just kind of leading. I thought he was kind of leading me on, just like blowing smoke in my face, whatever.
Yeah.
Until I got a call the next night. Like, hey, my cousin and I are shooting a movie out in L.A. In 2 weeks. We need a DP. Are you in? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in.
Dude,
Like,
that's awesome.
duh. So like they flew me out and paid for all like basically all my expenses, stuff like food and stuff. I mean, it was a low budget like indie production. I still got to do it.
No, bro, that's an experience. Like, regardless of the level, whatever, if it's mainstream or not, or some small level, like that
Doing that
still happened. Like,
Yeah.
you shot a film in LA.
I mean, like, the people that I like, the actors that we worked with are like, they're not really like slouches too. Like,
Yeah.
our lead guy is like, was she Outer Banks?
Yeah.
Our lead guy was, what's his name? John B's fucking stunt double dude. This crazy freaking dude named Travis, who is like one of the funniest people I've ever met. Like, we shot for 12 days. I get 12 days of shooting.
Wow, you were there for 2 weeks?
I was there for 15. It was there 15 or 17 days, and we did 12 days of shooting.
Damn.
Which is, you think that's crazy then you figure out that, you know, you shoot a feature length film, like on a film or a short film, a page of script on a screenplay is 1 minute of screen time. So our script for our feature film was 150 pages. So we had to shoot 150 pages of script in 12 days. And like, that may not sound like that's
No, that sounds like
that's a
lot.
huge undertaking.
Yeah.
Huge undertaking. So we didn't have the budget for it. Like, I had to be back by a certain time. Like, we just had to get it done. And thankfully we got it done. The movie's not done yet, which I wish it was. And the thing about progression too, like a lot, like looking back at that, like, God, I don't even want to watch that movie
And
now.
okay, when was this? How many years ago?
This was in August, like July, August of last summer.
Just the progression over 1 year makes it to where you're like, I don't even want to look at that.
No, I don't, bro. Like, that's why that's part of the reason I like denied coloring it, because like I don't want to go back and look at that, because like if it's ass, then I would be so sad and hate myself, because I know that like our director spent a lot of money on the movie, like paying actors, paying us, like renting Airbnbs, like. And I guess that's just like that's a selfish thing. Like, I don't want to have to see that. Like, it's not my movie, but it's not an immense. It's like,
Regardless of whether you like it or not, dude, you had.
I mean, I can't wait to see it, because like I liked the script on it. Like, I thought there was a good story. You know, I just haven't seen it.
So
and there's a rough cut out there and everything, but I just haven't.
you haven't even seen the rough cut?
No.
Wow.
I haven't seen anything.
Dang.
I mean, I have all of our dailies, like, on my hard drive, and I've watched a couple of clips, a couple of scenes we filmed, and yeah, it's interesting.
How would you say that opportunity of going to LA and I mean getting out of your comfort zone, because from what it sounds like that wasn't really in your day to day.
No, I was the first 2 nights I was there. Like the night before we started shooting, I didn't sleep. I was nervous,
Yeah.
dude. I was like, man, like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I'm not good enough for this, dude. But thankfully, like a team around me, like was like super supportive. And they're like, dude, like, no, this is your first short film, your first film in general. Like, don't worry, we trust you. We believe that you got this, and you can do it. And that was nice. What I mean, like, dude, being in LA at that point in my progression was so cool. Like, it's like I've been to LA before, and like it was cool to be doing touristy shit. But, like living as like a person in LA was the
Doing
coolest
some
thing.
LA shit.
But it's just so much of a new perspective on things. So you hear about it, but like being there and seeing the people that live there, and like how the people that you think are living large aren't living large, like everything about that, no matter how daunting it may seem to like go make it big at Hollywood or whatever, like it feels possible there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's like a weird like, and I've heard the same thing from other people who have visited, like it's possible to do it. Like that's the cool thing about it. Like I don't know, that's like the coolest thing. It's possible.
What did you bring back with you after that trip that affected how you moved forward with your style and your work? And
I mean, I think just straight believing in me. Like I did that. Like that was that's no slouch of a project. So the fact that the first foremost, and the fact that I made it through. Without any hitches. Like I didn't make any mistakes. Didn't like lose any footage or anything. Like
see, now that would have been a rookie mistake right there.
I would have been fucked.
Yeah, that is some shit.
It would have flown me out the next day.
Yeah, like I
going
out
home.
here.
But like that was the biggest thing. Like just believing in myself and knowing that like what I want to do is possible. Like if I just keep working at it. So at that time in August, like I was shooting for 4 months full. By then, like 4 months, like actually doing it. Like I got my camera in December of 22, and so I shot a little bit before May. But I said like May is like my 1 year mark. It's like according to those laws, like I just started shooting for a year. Knowing that I can do that in 4 months, like within that 4 months, that first 4 months, has given me so much confidence in knowing what I can do the next 4 months or the next 4 years. But the progression of things like that, I think that's like kind of what I enjoy a lot about the photo stuff, the visual media stuff. Is like the visual progression is so obvious to every work that you do. Like I see it in your stuff as well, like how you get better over time. I think that's the same with anybody else.
With consistency and the intention of getting better.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
Yeah, some people say the same. Not name names. I'll say.
Yeah, no, it's countless. It's an endless list of names that people just get complacent. They're happy with where they are, and they don't choose to get better. And it's not maybe that they get to a burnout per se, but kind of compared to a boredom.
Yeah. Do you get scared of complacency?
Bro, I get terrified.
Like of like unconscious complacency?
Yes. I
get that a lot, Mike. Like man, like I am going hard, but like am I getting soft? Like what am I doing?
Right, it's like a full week's worth of work. It's at the end of the week. I have a few hours where I'm just chilling, and I'm like, bro, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm over here slacking. Like, I gotta pick it up. My goal is to move like I have $1 million in my bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily in the financial way. I'm not gonna go act like I got $1 million in my bank account and be buying shit. But I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna act like I'm already. Like I already have $1 million in my bank account. Like I'm on that schedule.
Yeah.
Just playing
this lifestyle, like something that he taught me is just like there's no point in calling yourself something if you don't like walk the walk. Like you have to live it. Like when I used to want to be like this fashion guy or whatever. Like I'd be wearing Margiela t-shirt to sleep type shit. It's like I shit like that because that's the lifestyle. Like. I need to think of these high quality, high priced things that like they're just Hanes t-shirts. You know, like I have the money for that. In the same sense, like $1 million in the bank account, you have to just live the lifestyle to get there. Like,
And it falls into place. It's not gonna come overnight. And
No.
it might, but it'll take years to get to that overnight success.
because
Because
there's a lot of discipline.
very, very much so. Would you say that you have a lot of discipline integrated in your ethic, your work ethic?
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I haven't refined myself creatively within my process. There it is. I haven't refined my process enough to where to where discipline has become something that has helped me. Like I think I work so well just being all over the place, inconsistent with my processes that like it's hard for me to have something like a set schedule of how I work things out. I do have certain things like before I work on the computer, like I'll like clean up my room a little bit, like organize some things, like just kind of tidy up before I start working. And that's really it. Oh my God,
That's your-
hard thing.
Okay, because I am the same exact way, bro. Before, which I don't necessarily go and tidy my room. I'll clean the entire house. So I'm like over there, dishes.
Better man than me.
Bro, it's just I just know that if I get up and I go get a snack and I see the dishes in the
Yeah.
middle of a session, of like an editing session.
I can't cook unless all the dishes are clean.
Really.
If there's a dish in the sink, I can't cook.
Yeah.
Like you have to clean before you can do anything. Like clean kitchen, like that's a big thing.
I used to look at that as procrastination, and then I read The Creative Acts, A Way of Life.
Yeah,
I think
Rick
it is.
Rubin book?
Rick Rubin, yeah.
Fuck,
Bro,
book. Such
amazing,
a good book.
dude.
Such a good book.
And that's when it kind of came clear to me that these were necessarily, in a way, it definitely was procrastinating. I was putting off the work. I could do it later, but
Yeah.
it's just something I feel like I need to do as part of my process to, clean up my surroundings. And in my case, I get them so clean that like I don't have any room to like procrastinate
Yeah.
anymore. And maybe it's just various things that lead up to.
I mean, I see like the cleaning as like a low stimulus type of like lead up to it, because like when you're staring at a fucking screen for hours, it's kind of a lot on your brain. So like if I'm just like throwing my clothes into the hamper, like making my bed and like putting shit away, like that's a little bit of like a decompression before you jump right back in,
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm like either I work and I'll clean and then I'll go work and I'll go edit or whatever, like, or I'll be sitting watching TV, a screen, and then I'll go edit. But I have to clean in between because like I'm already like so worked up from the TV screen or from work, like it's hard to like settle for that. I don't do any work when it's light outside. For some reason I can't like focus.
You don't want to waste the daylight, man.
I can't. No.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm going to be sitting on my computer, like I'm gonna wait till it's dark outside. So nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I still like during the day, like I'll do whatever the fuck I need to do. But once it gets nighttime, like once like 8:30, 9 o'clock hits, like that's game time. I'll turn the speaker on, like start getting in my zone, clean up a little bit,
In the mirror.
get shit ready. I'll flex a little bit, do some pull-ups right here, have a pull-up bar. Yeah. I mean, like you gotta hype yourself up sometimes too. Like if I'm like not feeling it, because I listen to music like a lot, like all the time every day, as much as I can. So like, but I'm like, I'm a huge believer in like how not believer, but like I love how music dictates mood. So like,
Shit, that's not even a belief. That's a fact.
yeah, that's what I'm
a
saying. Like,
fact.
yeah. So like, if I'm sitting here listening to yacht rock all day, like I can't like get in my like competitive, like I'm gonna kill you type of zone, Like
Yeah.
you have to like, I'm gonna put on some fucking Playboy Cardi or like something like.
Some trap or something.
Yeah, like I'm switching from Stevie Wonder to fucking Ken Carson or something. Like, it's drastic, but like, hey, like it works. It does the job.
Yeah.
It makes me want to, do drive by myself.
Bro, this is a very peculiar thing to listen to. At least I thought so until I did it, and I was kind of in awe. Brown noise.
Yes.
Heard of white noise?
Yes.
Heard of
Brown noise is good. It's like lower.
Bro,
lower pitch. Yeah.
it sounds. At least the ones I've listened to, there's different ones that sound different. But
So different like frequencies of it and stuff.
kind of, it's not necessarily frequencies. Like it's not like the oh, it's not anything like that. It literally sounds like it's like you're in the inside of an airplane. That's what I think it sounds like the most. And there's so many times where I'll put it in my headphones in, or I'll put on my speakers. And the reason why I did it to begin with was I saw this comparison chart of different frequencies, different types of music, ranging from like lyrical, and how that makes you have a shorter attention span because it's lyrical. You got the instrumental, all that going on at the same time, and then like then there's like the lo-fi, and maybe your attention's a little bit stronger there, and it goes into like the frequencies, and then at the very top was brown noise. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna jump straight to the top, listen to some brown noise, bro. You get locked in, you don't even know it. It's crazy, like the.
You listen to it while you're working,
bro. I'll listen to it when I work out.
Really,
bro, it's different. It is different. Like the meditation that it helps get me into with just quiets my thoughts, helps me focus on the task at hand. And
so I used to listen to brown noise like to sleep, but I think in the same way that you listen to brown noise, I started listening to classical music, like some Mozart and shit.
Bro, hey, for real, the classical wave.
That stuff is like, that's like real, dude.
Yeah.
I feel smarter when I listen to that shit. Like my brain is like moving like full speed. Like they were doing something back then.
Bro, different. That was the peak of humanity. You look at all the. So one thing that blew my mind. I saw this. I believe it was a church somewhere in the Middle East, and maybe it was a church or some type of religious temple. But the architecture and the way that everything was set up, which is built in the 1500s, was astounding, bro. It was. I've never seen anything like that with my own eyes. In this generation that we have freaking electric cars and air conditioning and LED lights.
Everything has a feeling nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I read that a lot. Like everything's just kind of like bland.
Our houses, bro, they're just a bunch of squares. It's like they're putting us in a box. Like
just a box.
Like, you think it's figuratively, but it actually is. Like I feel like it does affect the way of our thinking. You know, like if we were in a different house with like
for sure. I mean, I'm sure that you've noticed that, like, if you, like, you know, you go pack up and you go work in a different environment, like, it's the workflow is different.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go, like, you know, if I'm tired of working in my room, like, I'll go to the coffee shop down there and go work, and it just seems like as soon as I switch locations, like, it's different.
Different inspiration.
Different vibe, like. Yeah. It's, like, we are in a box. It's kind of fucked up.
You asked me at my birthday, my party, said, do you consider yourself someone that thinks outside the box? And I believe I said no, but I was thinking about it. I actually would like to say yes.
Do you want to say yes, or do you believe yes?
I believe in order to think outside the box, you have to think inside the box. So that way you can recognize what inside the box is.
I agree with that. You have to understand.
You have to
understand you understand limitations before you can break them.
Right. I was trying to like break it down into like a deeper thought, and then it's like kind of crossroads. Like you kind of have to think inside the box, to recognize the other,
to know what the limits are.
Yeah.
And I learned that when I was racing. Like whenever I would go to like a new track or something, not even a new track. Just when I go out for my first session of the weekend or whatever, and I'm learning the track or the configuration or something, I always go past the line. You know, like I always like overshoot it and find where that limit is. And so then once you find that limit, you can draw back. So then you're on that line.
Yeah.
You know? Like you're actually on the groove. And I think that's the same way for like even the creative things, like being inside or outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand your limitations so you know you can break them.
Yeah.
The rules are meant to be broken, so you have to understand the rules first.
Yeah.
The best criminals are the ones that understand the laws the best.
Bro, yes. Literally. It's all comes down to fundamentals.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself someone that thinks outside the box?
Yeah, I do. I believe that as well, Mike.
Has it always been like that?
I think I've always felt like throughout my life. I think I've always felt like a bit of an outcast. I think that's due to a lot of different variables. Like I mean, like back in like when I was younger, like in like elementary, middle school and stuff, like even in high school a lot too, like even in college, like through my whole life. Like,
you know,
like racing has been such a huge thing in my life that like I've been gone like 3 weekends out of the month for every month. You know, like I'm not home every weekend, so I don't get much time to hang out with people, and that's my thing. But I always feel like I feel like everybody wants to think this, whatever, that think, oh yeah, I'm different. I'm fuck these guys, I'm different. But like, I really think I'm different. Like,
it's funny because all the same people are saying I'm different. But all the different people aren't saying shit.
Yeah. Like
you this observation, you don't actually you are different. But you aren't actively going and being like, yo, I'm different though. Like y'all finna see, yo, I'm different. And it's like, yo, show me with your actions.
Just thinking and doing it. And like it's like no, that's real shit.
Yeah.
I think that I'm different and I actively try to be different. Like I don't like I keep bringing this to like racing. Like, I went and shot photos for racing this weekend. And there were a lot of photographers to go there, and I feel in my mind that everybody gets the same shots. That's just how it is. There's only one thing to shoot when you're there. That's people on track. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So there's only so many ways you can do that. So like going there and trying to figure out different angles and different spots and stuff to just be different than everybody else. Like I don't want anything that I do to look at like anything but what anybody else does. Like no matter if I draw inspiration from this person or not, my shit's gonna be different. And like that's the thing about like people who copy. I've talked to a lot of people about that recently, like about like copying and like the form of flattery that is like blah blah blah. Like oh I should like like you should be pissed off that this guy like bit your shit. I don't care. Like in the end, like that's their choice to buy my shit and like I forgot what I was doing with that, but like it doesn't matter. They're not me. They're not doing it like I would.
I think an important part of that because I've been on. I feel like I've been on both sides of the track when it comes to that. And the reason I say that is because growing up, of course, I was I always thought I was different, and then whatever. But then it got to a certain point where I didn't know how to be different, and it started with me copying somebody. Like when I started doing music videos, I watched the best people that made music videos, and
you wanted to make Cole Bennett videos, like,
bro.
Who didn't?
Well, bro, I watched. So actually, it's funny. When I started music videos, it was straight out of high school, and the first guy that I ever shot music videos was Zach Green. Your real one, Zach Green.
Shout out to Zach Green.
Yeah,
Russian.
He told me, he's like, bro, you're like the next Cole Bennett. You're like Lyrical Lemonade's next Cole Bennett.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who that was. I was like, what do you mean?
Really?
Yeah. Like, what do you like? Who? Like. Yeah. He's like, bro, he does music videos. Like, y'all look alike. You know.
You guys do look like the exact.
Bro, the amount of times I've had people say that.
Dude, like if Cole Bennett went to the gym, dude, I would be kidding.
And if I was a couple inches taller, I think he's like 6 foot something.
He's a tall guy.
Yeah, he's a tall guy. But yeah, well, I found that I took the comment. I was like, well, shoot, I don't even know who this guy is, but he's saying.
Yeah, that's cool.
I went and watched his stuff, and I took so much inspiration from his videos, and in a lot of ways, I would not copy per se exactly, but I would use the same exact shot format in a different way.
Is it really copying in that sense? Because I feel like, especially when it comes to things like videos, like that's you have to like really try to copy something. Like I like with shot structure and certain angles, yeah, I get it, but like in the end, like when somebody else behind the camera, it's gonna be different.
That's what I realized was. And that's kind of the point was by me copying somebody, I developed my own style. And I wasn't solely copying them on every single video or every single shot. It was just like one shot. I was like, wow, that's cool. I want to use that in this video.
That's what inspiration is.
Yeah, exactly, in inspiration.
And I do the same thing. Like I like to look at. Like, there's this one of my favorite websites on the internet. It's called shotdeck.com. I've told you about this before. And it's just like frames, like still frames from just all these different movies. I look at that, I look at that, and that's the only thing I look for, like, inspiration on. Like, I hate looking through Instagram. It's like,
The algorithm will suck me up, dude. I'm
Bro.
stuck for hours watching stupid ass videos.
Oh my god, people get hit by cars, like some random cat videos.
Yeah.
Like, dude, my girlfriend like keeps loves sending me cat videos. I'm not a cat guy, but like,
So
I'll watch them. She likes them. Like they're kind of cute. Like I'll take it. Like, yeah, no.
That's why we use the website. We just because you don't have.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with that shit. And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't even like say like I'm like calling out like fake cinematographers, but like I think like you asked about like California, what I learned from there, it's like the best people at these cinematography jobs are really the best people at these jobs, these production jobs, are not the people that are posting about it on Instagram. That's for real.
Because they're working.
Because
They're working, bro.
They don't need to impress nobody on social media. They don't need to get no thousands of followers. Fuck that. Like,
You can make a lot of plays without being super
Yeah.
active on social.
just making good shit, connecting with people that also make good shit and have great connections.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it takes.
Having the good people around you and
Making good shit.
yeah, making good shit. What do you think is the most important thing to ensure that you keep that initial intention in mind when you're? I don't know if I.
The initial intention of making good shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I could have phrased that weird. I was kind of going somewhere where it didn't really fit. How important is it to have those types of people around you, like the ones that you're talking about in LA?
It's imperative. I think, like, as I've gotten older, I think whenever you were a kid, you know, like your teachers or your parents, somebody like always told you like to watch who you hang around with. You are who you hang around with. Like, and as I got older, I've understood that is true. It's a straight fact. Because when I look at myself, like back in high school or like even early in college, like all the two I hung out with, and that's who I was. Like I was, you know. Yeah, I wasn't where I am today. And like, I don't want to put down anybody. Like, I wasn't where I was today, and I wasn't who I could be. And I think even I'm still in those same brains today. Like, I'm not where I want to be, and haven't yet met the people that I need to meet yet. You know, like having the people that are at least more successful, if not as successful as you, like, help you become better. Like I'm blessed with like the people that I worked with at Kart Chaser, because they've all been doing this much longer than I have, and I'm able to learn so much from that. Like the people around you, like the team is so important. Like just being able to bounce off each other, learn, have like experience different perspectives on different issues. Like it's to me it's invaluable, really. Like working with there's this guy who worked for Kart Chaser our like second year of working or first year working. It's now Sean Birdbull, and he's this videographer, photographer for motorsports and stuff. He works for this really good company, like IndyCar, like all like the American racing series.
Nice.
And he is like the man. He's the master behind the camera, on the computer. He's the man. And like and when I met him, he doesn't work for us now because he's went off to do better things. But when I met him, I didn't know near as much as I had now. God damn it, I wish I did. Because if I had someone like that now, like it'd be amazing. Like how many questions you could ask, and you know, just observing. Like I think we're at such an age. You and I, like, we're 23 now, right?
22.
Yeah,
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Bro, what?
Oh,
You said I'm old, bro. What?
Oh, old.
Like, when you turn 23?
January.
Bro, you're fresh. You're like right in the beginning of your career.
Dude, in 2 years, I gotta start paying for my own insurance, dude. That's
Now you can rent a car though, right?
I can rent a car now.
What is the?
You can rent a car at 21. It's just like
21.
certain companies and certain states have like different laws.
Oh, okay, I thought there was like 26 or something.
No. I mean, yeah, like, and also, I think it also might depend on your insurance too.
Oh,
I think. I'm not sure. I used to be a professional race car driver, so like, you're
Yeah.
fault in that. Cut that out. Yeah, just like learning from people. Like when I went to like the single most transformative experience I've ever had throughout my life has been like I last May I went to Junction for a school trip. Damn, my hat's sideways. Everything. I went to Junction for a school trip. Like a, I got denied going on this badass Iceland trip. Jared Foster. Um, I got denied, so in like just to make up for me not going to Iceland, he invited me to go to this Junction trip, which was like the coolest thing ever. We went driving around all like Southwest Texas, like hill country, like 10 miles, 5 miles from the fucking border.
Wow.
We went to Fort Davis, like we hiked Mount Livermore, which is like the fourth tallest mountain in Texas or something like that. Hiked that. We went to like this place called Independence Creek. We worked like alongside the Nature Conservancy
Oh, that's cool.
of Texas, so they just they're like a nonprofit who just buys land and just does something with it. Really, they just let it be.
Keeps it.
And that's awesome.
That's great.
And so like most people don't get the luxury of visiting the places we got to visit, but that's beside the point. On this trip, like I got to work with this guy, Jared Foster. I just called out, but he's like the professor of practice here at Tech. Badass photographer, like published in multiple magazines, all kinds of stories, just all around badass dude. And learning from somebody who's as successful and as experienced as him, living with him for 2 weeks was like it was a game changer for me. Like I didn't know shit before I went. I mean, I knew some stuff, but like I didn't know anything until I went on this trip. Like after this, like I got my job at Armadillo. Like all these dominoes started falling. Like from this, like realizing, like seeing from not just the professors that were there, but also even just from the peers that were around me, like people that were experienced, who were juniors in college, but already had jobs waiting for them. Like
When it comes to these opportunities, where like when you went to LA and then going to this Junction trip and even the kart chaser opportunity, all of those, how did you set yourself up to be able to bring those opportunities to you? In each one of those aspects, I know that's probably a lot, but
so I mean, for LA, like I'm a very empathetic person. I think I don't like to lose friends, really. I like to be nice to everybody. So like, in the few years that like myself, like my friend Josh didn't talk very much, we were still good friends. Like I always try to keep like these ties together and whatnot. I stay in contact, send a meme every once in a while, blah blah blah. Just trying to stay in contact, keep I like to think that I have good taste in friends, and like I mean, I was always able to stay in contact with these people and keep these connections going, and be all right. For that was how that one was. We just kind of stayed calm. We're still good friends. We still talk a lot. For Junction, I think that is a big product of just making myself known. Like I read this is like one of my favorite quotes. I read the Matthew McConaughey Green Lights book. I don't know if you read that. You really should. It's Matthew McConaughey, badass fucking book.
Green Lights.
Green Lights, so good. If I had a copy, I'd give it to you. I'd give it to my sister. So I read that book, and in one of the passages, he talks about all these random trips he went on. He went on like these trips to like the Amazon rainforest and hanging out with these like indigenous tribes and shit. Like, so he was talking about one of those crazy trips, and he went to I think it was Africa, and did like hang out with some indigenous tribe, and they were talking about something. But the moral of that, this is like, in a world full of dry white shit, be the stinky wet brown shit. Like, because it sounds crazy,
But yeah, I kind of see it.
Because dry shit doesn't stink. You don't ever smell it. You don't ever you don't think about it. You just dry shit. But when you walk past like fucking dump, dude. Like, bro, like that's like you remember that, right? So you need to be wet shit all the time.
Bro, I'm not even the fart, bro.
No, you're not even the fucking. You gotta be the wet shit. Dude. You gotta be the fucking diarrhea Hershey squirts, dude.
Yo, okay.
Like,
I love that Taco Bell aftermath.
Yeah. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like making yourself known and like getting people to remember you in some way, form, leaving an impact on people is like it's so important that for keeping connections because like even the connections that I made a year ago, I'm about to use when I go back to when I go to Austin. Like connections I made in Junction, I'm still gonna use like whenever like I still am in contact with these people. I still talk to these people. Like anybody that I meet, like anybody that I make connection with, like doesn't matter like the distance or space. Like I'll have people across the country. Like I'll talk to some of the guys that I met out in California, or I'll talk to some of the guys I met out in fucking North Carolina, like Georgia. Like doesn't matter.
How do you ensure that you make a lasting impact? I know it probably caters to the individual, but something that you just do almost regardless that you just know is gonna make people keep your name in mind.
I don't know if there's one thing that like one size that fits all on that, but I will say something that I have been putting a lot of focus on is names. So I think myself personally, like when I meet somebody who I haven't seen very often, when they remember my name, like that kind of like puts a little, put a little oomph in my heart, like, oh, okay, I kind of like you, like you're cool. So like when I try to remember people's names so that they feel that same way because, everybody meets a lot of people. Like you met a lot of people yesterday or today, whatever. And being able to differentiate those people is huge. Now you can't remember everybody's name, but the people you do focus on, you do see some kind of potential, and like that's important. Like anybody, like even like in like and I learned this at the camera store. Like when certain customers come in, like they want to feel special because they spend a lot of money with us. When I was able to like gotta remember the name, so they keep buying shit from us. So I think about
like customer service and
and it's customer service, it's relationship service, really. Like like I'm gonna keep this connection because I keep remembering your name. That's the first thing I keep doing. Like I remember who the fuck Kate Conway is, like
it's all about who you know.
Yeah,
all about who you know.
It's all about who you know, bro.
You gotta know a certain amount, but who you know also is very, very, very important.
Because the people who know really good people but don't know shit get embarrassed really quickly.
Yeah, very.
I see that a lot. Like in the karting industry, like it happens a lot. Like the guys that are, the rich people or like the people who like got these contacts, get this certain job, like they suck. You're fraud.
For sure. So when these people are talking, getting yourself to a point where you're associated with people that know how to talk well, effectively communicate with others, and not saying anything and letting other people do the talking for you. That is fun. Because then you hear, it kind of goes through the grapevine, it comes back and you hear what people are saying. Yeah. And sometimes it's not good. Sometimes you're like, most of the time, you hope that it's good and you will get good feedback because then people will be like, yeah,
It's hard, but it's hard to distinguish the real from the fake. Like, I mean, do you feel like you might get a lot of like fake compliments?
Yes. Well, the compliments, I don't.
Maybe not fake compliments, but like fake love,
Fake love for sure. I think fake love is the driving factor of the industry, dude. That's if you look at America, bro. This is taking a little bit to the extreme.
We got existential over here.
Yeah. So the way America's built, you can hate your boss, but if you want to raise, you're not gonna let them know that you hate them.
Sure.
Or if you're it works in different levels, but that's how I look at it. Not necessarily like who's the boss or that aspect, but more of the when there's certain projects that I'm needing help on, and there's people that are showing fake love. I don't want that in my circle because it'll kind of mess up my creative process.
I think so too. Yes, imagine
energy. Yeah.
Do you think have you noticed that you get maybe a little bit extra, a little something like people are trying to work with you?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, like a
it's-
total glaze session.
Yeah, like if somebody's
Yeah.
trying to like, oh yeah, I want this video, but I want it at a discount. Like, you're the best. Like I don't have much money. Like I'm gonna give you this much. It's a little bit lower. I'm sorry, but like you're so awesome. Like,
Well, if that ever comes into play, which I'm pretty positive it has in the past, people will be like, I'm a big fan of your work. I ain't really got a bunch of money, but I'm trying to do something. Like, let's make it happen.
yeah.
I'm like, well, like, what's your budget? Let's see if we can work something out. Most of the time, bro, if they're not really about it, they don't even answer the budget question, because they might be like, I don't have a whole lot of money, and I mean, I either see your work and I'm inspired by your work, and that makes me want to be around you, to work with you, and work like for you, and like provide you with content, whatever it be.
Yeah.
The work can do that for me. It'll make it to where I'm like, okay, I believe in this person. I want to help them. That's one thing that kind of drives me. But the monetary is almost like a placeholder. Show me that they're also like working hard. And say, okay, they're giving me hard-earned money.
Committed.
Yeah, like they're committed. Like, you're either gonna show me you're committed through your actions or through money. And I don't know any other ways, but
Yeah.
I feel like, like if you're willing to show that you're committed, you're either gonna show the work or you're gonna show the money.
Yeah.
And I'm not a shallow person. That's just how I see it. Like,
Yeah.
because I'm a very personable person. I work on building relationships, and like I said, if I see the work, money may not even matter. But if I gotta pay my bills, and you're not really about it,
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
you gotta do it.
Do you find that you get? Do you? I'm sure this is probably an easy question. I mean, do you deny people more than people deny you? And deny in the sense of like turning down a budget or blah blah blah.
I mean, people will deny me just because they are looking for the level of project that I'm wanting to do. Because it's not so much that I think I get denied because the work isn't good enough. Because I believe in the work. I believe in what I do. And I think it's just more of people aren't willing to take it to that level. So overall, I would kind of say I probably deny more than I get denied, but I also don't put myself, which I should, in a position to get denied.
So do you like cold calling or anything like that?
No, and that's actually something I have been thinking on a lot these past few months, is just the power behind a cold call. Because, I mean, you may end up hitting that one email or that one DM, and they answer, and that's the pivoting factor.
Take it.
Yeah, that's the tipping point. And that's where I just know, like, because I'm after doing this for a few years, which I've always been into video for, I would say probably with, like, professionally, maybe 2 years, but overall, like, just having fun with it about probably 5 or 6.
Where was that? When or where or what happened with that turning point to where you were actually confident in what you were doing? Be confident in the fact that you could deny clients because they weren't offering something that you felt like was worth what you were doing. And where was that turning point for you? What flipped the switch?
The turning point for me,
I mean, was there a singular moment, or was it gradual?
it was definitely gradual. It's been a compounding thing over the past few years. I would say going through the hardships, going through the challenges, and being put in tough situations, and coming out on the other side still smiling, showed me that, I don't mean this literally, but whatever life throws at me, I'm gonna get through it.
Yeah.
And like, sometimes I may not be getting through some stuff, but for the most part, like, whatever life throws at me, I'm gonna get through it, and will likely come out a better person on the other side, because I've learned things through those challenges that made me more confident and moving forward.
Well, I think, especially talking about hardships, like, I think I'm, no matter how hard times have gotten in the past, I think remaining grateful for every day and going through those hard times has given me at least the perspective like not this perspective, but the ability to think, to have a positive outlook on life, and like to kind of like a reset. I went through like a really tough breakup at the end of 2022, and it's interesting looking back at those things that were really hard at the time, that really sucked. But then, like, you realize the gold that came out of that pressure, the diamonds that came out of that pressure, like that's it. It almost makes like those hard times worth it. It's like for a while, like as somebody who's beginning in their artistic journey, right? Like for a lot of people, I think, including myself, like romanticizing the whole struggling artist thing is kind of romantic. And like so for a while before like my big event, I was like, okay, I kind of like I was thinking that I kind of needed this. Like I needed like something to happen to put me really low to see where I came about it. Like I kind of wanted it in a sense, and that kind of sounds kind of fucked up.
Hey, I think I'm pretty sure it says in the Bible that be open to challenges, like
Yeah.
literally accept and open open arms challenges.
Yeah. And I guess that does kind of ring true. Like
I don't know if the Bible actually says that word for it, but
yeah, no, but the sentiment's there.
Yeah.
Like maybe the Bible was thinking about I struggled with it, but like I don't know. Like going through really fucking tough shit is like some of the most. That's like the cream of the crop right there. That's where the shit comes from.
That wet, stinky shit, dude.
I wouldn't say that. All right, so that did leave an impression on me, but like I wouldn't call
it started to like turn into white shit.
That started
dry
to
white
some white shit. Thank God for heartbreak and thank God for illicit drugs.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. Like my parents and like my friends like hate that. Like it's like I don't want to go through like all that, but like in that time, in that space of life, like it was rough, but I did some shit, but thank God that shit happened. Like that's just a weird thing to like say internally and actually to vocalize it. Like thank God that shit happened. Like, thank God I did some dumb shit. Like thank God. Like I wouldn't be where I was today. Like. And I think so many people can say that, and it's such a beautiful thing that like diamonds really are made for pressure. Like that's such a beautiful thing. I don't know how we got there,
but you don't see those diamonds until you brush the dirt off. Like it takes a little bit, and then after a while,
It makes I always knew that like in the past, like I've known that like I want to do something a bit more expressive, artistic in certain senses, and. Like it took me a while to figure out like the medium in which I would use to express myself, and it took a while, whatever. But like going through that time kicked me into that spot, and like biggest perfects, which would have never picked up a camera if I didn't go skiing. You know what I'm saying?
Go skiing. So you pick. All right. So how did you start photography? How did you even pick up the camera to begin with?
So, this is I've always been interested. So, like, my boy Reggie, like, I'll always hold him as like the guy that made me cool, the guy that made me like, gave me a bit of a stylistic view of things. I got started because my boy Reggie got me into fashion, streetwear, all these things back in the day. And so I started out doing iPhone photos, and like for a while I was like really convinced that like I could do exactly what I wanted to do like with just my iPhone, which I could do for a while, and it didn't. It obviously like changed, but so I started doing like these like interesting like fit pics or whatever. My friends like Reggie, like as you can see like back here, like he's an avid collector of clothes and stuff, and like he has a lot of really cool pieces. And I used to collect pieces as well and whatnot, and we would always like go try to take cool pictures that kind of coordinated with the opposite of wearing. So I did that for a little bit, and I wanted to do it really bad. And I got in contact with Josh. I got with Josh. We worked at Chewy's together.
Josh?
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, it's like we met before I started taking pictures, which is crazy. So like yeah, I met him. Uh, we went. My mom gave me like her old Nikon D60, like fucking 12-year-old
Nikon,
camera.
okay.
I don't claim Nikon at all. So yeah, I took some photos of him with that. Milo, get the fuck off. So I did those pictures. I did some iPhone stuff. I really liked it. I tried making beats. I sucked. I tried like doing graphic design. I sucked. So then I was like, okay, I need to figure something out. I kind of started liking this photography thing, and I started doing it on the iPhone for the longest time.
What iPhone did you start on? Do you remember?
You know, this one. So I think I started like whenever I started on a 10 or like a XR or whatever the fuck it is. And then so this is junior year of college. I got dumped, got into some shit. But okay. I forgot this part. So in the racing world, there's this guy, like my now boss, this guy named Trevor. Who, if you're watching this, I love you. When I was racing, he would always just like give me photos, and like that's kind of rare. Like most photographers at races, like you have to pay for them. It's kind of fucking expensive. But he would just like, we were homies, like we were friends, and like he just would give me photos for free. And, like I loved what he did. And, like we would talk about cameras, talk about photography, all these things. He was really interested in. He got me on the Sony Wave. So then I got dumped, whatever, and like my parents asked me like, yeah, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, I want this camera. Blessing, my parents were blessed. Thank my parents. So I got this camera, and here we are. Like I just
Round a little bit.
yeah. Then I started to become like obsessed with movies. I read there's a Pantone book on color. I read that. I think I read it twice now. I have like my sister has a Kindle right now, but did that, and then yeah, I've kind of become obsessed ever since.
What do you think was the thing that tipped that obsession that made you obsessed?
I think the obsession was always within me when it comes to like movies and like pictures and videos and stuff. I think the obsession, like the fixation on it, was always within me. But I didn't have the opportunity to like pursue it and like let it grow.
Mm-hmm.
I think going through like that breakup situation, like being single, like allows you a lot of freedoms that you don't think of in your relationship. And when after 3 years, like being free as an adult man, like
especially a newly introduced adult man to the real world.
Yeah, like it was a beautiful thing. Like everything just seemed to align at once. Like I started like as soon as I picked up the camera, I started meeting so many really cool people, and like my classes at school just suddenly became interesting, and like it's great. Since that day, I've only got like before my breakup, I was getting like C's and B's and some D's and shit classes, but like after that, I don't think I've gotten anything below B.
Nice.
Like I got straight A in my last semester, my last year of college. I got all A's. Crazy. I went from a 2.3 GPA to a 2.9, which is crazy.
And within a year.
Within a year.
That's pretty badass.
Pretty fucking wild.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of myself from now on. But yeah, like I forgot what the question was.
It was initially what was that driving obsession? What was driving that obsession?
I mean, initially, especially like when I first started really pushing myself in all aspects, like in photography, in school, at the gym. Um, uh, all those three things were driven by, and this is truthful. Like, I wanted to make sure that my ex regretted leaving me.
Bro, yo.
And I know right now she does, and that's cool. And so that means I'm done my job. I mean, obviously my motivation has evolved since then.
Yeah, that was just like the
initially, like, damn, dude, that ex-girlfriend, like, coal, fuel for your fire is top tier,
bro. No cap.
Top tier.
That's why I started reading personal development books, bro.
Dude, I read this book called Mastery
by Robert Greene.
This is the Aikido guy.
He's the one that wrote 48 Laws of Power.
I've read that one.
Robert Greene wrote a book called Mastery as well.
It might be the same guy. I don't have the copy on me, but yeah, I read
the black and gold cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's white and orange.
Maybe it is a different. Man, this is a lot. But anyways, so
I don't know. I read that book.
The author you said?
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember.
It was just the main thing I remember was like the premise of the book, and then like he did Aikido, like the martial art Aikido.
Mm-hmm.
That's like those are the two things I remember. Like the premise of the book, the whole meaning of the book, but then he just did some martial arts shit. Like that's cool. But yeah, that's about it. Do your shit. Just do it. Like, there's nobody's gonna be watching. People are way more worried about themselves than they are you. Just go do it. You're the only person. You're your only number one fan. That's it. Amen.
There you go. First fucking podcast fucking killed that.
I want to say thank you to Kate Conway, Hectic Media, for having me, thinking that I'm actually cool enough for this. I don't think I'm cool enough for this. I appreciate this guy for making me think that, I am worth something. Hectic Media always says cool shit. I always fuck with you guys. Kate, you're a huge inspiration for me. Shout out.
Likewise, bro. I want you to know that. Likewise, that competition, probably competition with you, bro.
I
see you and I'm like, I want to do something better than that.
Yeah,
it's hard.
I think the same for you, bro.
Right. I love
it's
it.
friendly. Like,
yeah.
I want to beat you in everything I fucking do.
Hell yeah.
We're still homies. Like,
straight up for sure. Like that's it, bro. That is the bread and butter. It's like you can competition with not only yourself but the ones around you. Like you keep the energy light.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I mean like I think that's like in my racing career. Like that's kind of what I missed out on. Like was like I was so focused on fucking being good. And I lost out on a lot of like the social aspect of everything, like having friends at the racetrack. That sucks, and then I try to rectify that now. I take some things from that racing like mindset perspective and like bring it into my real life, but take out all the shit that didn't serve me right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, I don't even know what date it's. I just got done with a 23-hour drive.
23 hours,
dude. Did I tell you this? No. I had to go. So I went to North Carolina. I was in North Carolina this weekend. Nobody actually knew this.
Yeah, no, I didn't want it.
Yeah, I started post about it. I was in North Carolina this weekend, and on Thursday, all the storms and shit were rolling through.
Oh yeah.
My flight got canceled when I was supposed to fly in North Carolina. Milo, motherfucker. On Thursday, I had to like make a fucking spring decision of like, yo, dude, we gotta drive. So like, I drove from here to Dallas. And then from Dallas to North Carolina, like all like straight, basically. With me and two other dudes on the way there, and then one other guy on the way back. Fucking terrible. So like on Sunday, when we were like, after we got done like packing up like the whole broadcast booth and everything like that, like sweaty as fuck, humid as hell, hot in the car.
No shower, straight home.
No shower, bro. We showered with baby wipes, bro.
That's living.
I don't know. I'll do anything for my company, bro. For sure.
That's a corporate man. Dude, that's a corporate man right there.
That's dedication. It's for the love of the game, bro.
Yeah.
For the love of the game.
Well, dude, I appreciate you for being such an amazing guest.
You my mans. Thank you for having me, dude. Like, I really do appreciate you think that I'm cool enough for this. Like, being on this podcast is really cool. I really do feel with what you're doing, and yeah, like I wish you the best for the future. Like I know we'll be in contact.
Oh, easily, dude.
Ain't nothing.
Hey, I just want to let you know, bro. It's not a matter of who thinks who or whatever is cool. It's a matter that you are so cool that you're on the Hectic Way podcast.
Dude, I'm so cool. Did you hear that? I'm so cool that I'm on the Hectic Way podcast.
Yeah.
Bless up. Thank you so much.
So y'all check them out. We're gonna have all the Instagrams and whatnot in the description.
Check me out.